In the fall of 2010, a blue horizon lit up the skyline of Disney's California Adventure for the first of what would be many nights of entertainment. Hundreds of delighted guests stood in awe looking up at the towering projections and the neon-clad dancers that surrounded them as adults traveled back to their childhood in a rundown arcade. This was ElecTRONica, and it changed my life. When Tron Legacy came out in December of 2010, little Roxy's mind was blown. Never before had she seen such incredible images compounding together to build a world so far off from our own. Speaking truly, I genuinely consider this movie to be one of the ones that influences the kind of art I consume and produce and ultimately want to make in the future, so when I was able to step into the world of Tron, I couldn't have been more excited. Running for almost 2 years, ElecTRONica established the nighttime event scene at California Adventure for the coming 5 years, leading the way for such events as Mad Tea Party, Glowfest, and Freeze the Night. Amazingly, it was able to balance most age demographics without leaving anybody out. Young kids could enjoy the visuals and age-appropriate music, and adults could revisit the world of an 80s classic and, well, get a drink. For the first time in their entire lives, guests could step into the grid. The environment was a synth-heavy neon dream housed in the early 2010s 80s neon resurgence. Even for people who hadn't seen either movie, the event was a spectacle that everyone could enjoy. Throughout the day at DCA, a massive countdown clock read the hours, minutes, seconds, and milliseconds until Portal opened. This was a great way to get guests interested in what was going on, and most likely created more buzz about the nighttime event than without the countdown clock. As guests arrived at the backlot, they would be greeted with a pre-show starring Eckert, who would establish the basic world of the grid and introduce the new world of Tron Legacy. Because this event debuted 2 months before the film opened, at the beginning there must have been quite a learning curve for people who had only seen trailers, and even more so for those who hadn't. By using a character that was not in the film, although ultimately was connected to the film, it was an easy way for guests to understand what was going on. To begin the pre-show, Eckert would enter the stage to introduce himself as the new owner of the End of the Line Club, a location we get to see in the Tron Legacy film. After a brief dance number with classic 80s outfits, the same dancers dressed as programs would dance, fight, to the synth music playing behind them. After a 10-second countdown led by Eckert and his programs, the portal to the grid was finally open. What greeted guests was a massive recognizer like the ones we see in the film, and huge projected videos both from the film and some specifically made for the event that were projection mapped onto buildings to create a completely immersive environment. Of course, Daft Punk's incredible score served as the audio backdrop for your time in the grid, and incredibly talented dancers would entertain guests and encourage them to take part in the fun of the world. One of my favorite dancers that was featured every night was Laserman, who, to me, signals to the incredible ingenuity from Imagineering. Laserman would manipulate the lasers in ways I still can't understand. By using something as simple as lasers to create such a spectacle was something I'll never forget, and when recounting the entertainment at ElecTRONica, many people to this day mention Laserman as the standout dancer. Since then, I've seen other concerts and events use Laserman, but seeing him for the first time while associated with the neon-heavy world of Tron felt fitting, to say the least. I've scoured the internet to find the names of those who actually performed as Laserman, but unfortunately, I could not even find a crumb of information or the smallest form of a lead. In the corner of the Hollywood backlot, near where the red Coca-Cola building restaurant thing is, you could find Flynn's arcade that closely mimicked the one that Sam finds in the sequel. The sound effects in this area of the event were peak immersive entertainment, and the vintage games in the arcade actually worked, allowing for a fun nostalgic return to childhood for adults and a fun gaming experience for kids. And then there was the actual End of the Line Club, where guests could enjoy alcoholic and non-alcoholic drinks, including the blinking Digitini, which is so much fun to say. ElecTRONica was a hot spot for locals, but seems to be relatively unknown outside of the theme park community. The impact Tron Legacy had on me as a child is one I'm still seeing the effects of today, especially with my interest in science fiction and world building. To be able to explore the grid in a large-scale environment was something that I look back on with fond memories, and I constantly return to this event as an example of incredible immersive entertainment. In terms of the longevity of the event, although it only ran for a few years, the impact it had on the nightlife of DCA is impossible to deny. After the success of ElecTRONica, other events like Mad Tea Party, which inarguably became a cultural staple within Southern California, Glowfest, and Freeze the Night entertained families for years post-ElecTRONica's closing. With the popularity of Tron Uprising on Disney+, and those who grew up with Tron Legacy now entering the consumer market, I believe ElecTRONica would be a welcomed addition to nightlife at DCA. Obviously, World of Color allows for nighttime entertainment, and with the emergence of Avengers Campus creeping into the backlot, ElecTRONica might have to vie for guest attention. However, with its very four-quadrant atmosphere and unique experiential entertainment, I believe people would truly enjoy an opportunity to experience this again. Disney could employ the updated technologies that have emerged from the past 10 years and make ElecTRONica even more immersive than before. With the Disney Park resurgence of the film in Tron Light Cycle Run in Shanghai Disney and now Walt Disney World, it's obvious theme park goers are still hungry for the world of the grid. And with drone shows becoming more popular at nighttime events, ElecTRONica provides the perfect opportunity for them to be used at the Disneyland Resort. Imagine the merch opportunities for ElecTRONica. The popcorn buckets, the ears, the shirts, the magic bands. Disney would be raking it in. Similarly to the bands in Super Nintendo World and the Wand and the Wizarding World, Disney could sell personalized discs for guests to accessorize with during their night. Although there is the fear of someone using it as a frisbee, I assume they would just be far too expensive that no one would actually want to. There's also the opportunity to include costumed characters at the event. Outside of walk-around programs or recognizable Tron characters, there are already these adorable costumes for Minnie, Mickey, Donald, and Goofy from the opening of the Tron rides. There have been talks for years about a potential Tron 3 film titled Tron Ares, but the film has been in production hell for over 5 years. Sources do say, though, and fairly recently, that although the film is moving at a snail's pace, the film is moving. So maybe in the next 5 years, we'll see the third installment of the Tron franchise and a potential return of ElecTRONica. So all I ask is this: Mr. Iger, pretty please, with a cherry on top, or no cherries if you're trying to cut back, bring back ElecTRONica and make my 9-year-old self the happiest girl in the world. Hi everyone, thank you so much for watching. Let me know in the comments if you ever saw ElecTRONica. I'm really curious to know your thoughts. If you liked this video, feel free to like and subscribe, and you can find me on Instagram and TikTok at RoxylandMedia. I'll see you all next time.